Hey guys, Ken here from the Retro Toy Escapades channel in Malaysia. The Thundercats have officially returned to comics as of yesterday, February 7, 2024. As I covered here previously, it has made headlines as the single biggest new comics launch of the decade. There's been literally 100 different covers produced for the first issue alone, but in this video, I'll be putting forward an honest review on the actual book itself. As a lifelong Thundercats fan since the 1980s, I have the Marvel comic books from back then, I have the Wildstorm reboot books from 2002, and it is with great eagerness that I'm checking out the first issue of the new series and will be sharing my thoughts with you guys on how it all turned out. Some of the biggest things fans have been talking about since the promo images for the new book launched was mainly the fact that the Thundercats are all wearing pants now, or something like futuristic jumpsuits. Also, nobody can figure out why the classically iconic Tigra now has all this weird facial hair on his face. The book is brought to us by writer Declan Shelvey and illustrated by artist Drew Moss. Like I said, something like 2 million covers were made for the first issue, okay? But the main standard cover, which should be the easiest for casual fans to track down, is this one here by artist David Nakayama. Shout out to David Nakayama, who also dropped by my Instagram page recently in response to my coverage of the new Thundercats comic. Now, the book has only just been released, and I know a lot of people out there are scrambling to the comic book shops to get this thing picked up. And I hope that everybody's had a chance to also read the book, once you have it in your hands. I don't want this to be a spoiler-filled review. I'm going to try to keep it as vague as possible, but I am going to let you know exactly what I thought about the book, because when all is said and done, this book did manage to surprise me, I have to say, okay? And I wasn't really expecting that. I thought it was going to be a pretty predictable read, because prior to this, Dynamite did release a couple of preview pages online. I think there were about 6 in total, and there were a few more pages that were exclusive to another site. So these pages have more or less been out there. Fans have been able to look at them, discuss what was happening, basically sort of like get a gist of what the storyline would be. I thought the storyline was going to be moving in one particular direction only. Like this first issue was supposed to be mainly just set up, okay, just like setting up the whole atmosphere, the whole environment that these characters will be operating in. Obviously, there's a lot here that's drawing from the classic cartoon series. Okay, it's the basic, simple premise that we've been used to. The Thundercats are fleeing the destroyed home planet of Thundera. They're being pursued across space by the mutants. Okay, the mutants want the Eye of Thundera. So these guys crash land on Third Earth as expected. Okay, they crash land on this all-new planet. Their mentor Jaga is killed. Okay, these are all things that we've seen before in the cartoon as well. And they're left there stranded on this new planet. We see this group photo shot of all of them just disembarking from the ship, venturing out into this bold new world. The gang's all here. They're all in their super futuristic looking jumpsuits and pants. And Tigra is introduced to us already with the weird facial hair. So he basically just stepped out from the ship already looking like that. It wasn't something that he grew into. Okay, but all of the main story beats are still there. Lionel is still supposed to be a kid trapped in an adult's body, all right, because of the complications on the ship's stasis chamber that made him just age unnaturally, all right? So it's the same setup that we've seen before. And I would have to say that a lot of the pacing here was actually pretty good. There's a lot of good dialogue between the characters. We see training sequences between Lionel and Pantro. We see a lot of interaction there between the rest of the members of the team. There's some good interaction here between Chitara and Tigra. Of course, in any incarnation of the Thundercats, these two characters are just freaking in love with each other, all right? You know it, okay? It isn't spelled out so obviously, but there is some flirtatious chatter between the both of them, and longtime fans will know where this thing is heading, okay? Now, some of the dialogue in the book is pretty cringe, I have to say, all right? And I did wish that they'd managed to incorporate a little bit more humor, more one-liners and stuff like that, because there is a specific tone here. Most of the time, it's really serious. That's okay, all right? But we're introduced to a team here. It's an entire team dynamic, and you do want to see a little bit more humor between them. And there are moments here where they try to lighten the mood. I felt that it was maybe a little bit forced, okay? But we do get a lot happening here, that's for sure, all right? There was a sneak preview in the preview pages that they provided here. there was a silhouette of a mysterious looking figure that's tracking the Thundercats. You guys know exactly who this guy is, okay? Thundercats fans, just by the look of the outline of that face there, you know exactly who it is. Now, we did also get preview pages showing Lionel brandishing the Sword of Omens and calling on the Thundercats to action with a ho! So, we got all these sequences in the preview pages, and somehow I just felt that all of this was just going to be a setup for the first issue. Like after the whole introduction and a bit of character setup, we'd get a hint of a threat, and the book would end with just Lionel calling on the Thundercats to action, and this would just lead into the second issue. Okay, maybe I just felt it was going to go that way because I've read a lot of introduction books that pretty much go that direction, all right? They don't really give you a lot of action from the get-go. But guys, I gotta tell you, okay, I was wrong. Super wrong on all counts. This book takes you into some truly glorious, explosive action. You get what you want to see. And on top of all that, okay, on top of all the action, you also get two, all right, not one, but two cliffhanger finales that you definitely will not anticipate. I think that for casual fans, you could be reading this thing and you just go by the end, hey, that's pretty interesting, But for the hardcore fans, when you see what they have in store at the end, you probably just go, hey, what just happened? Okay, right? Your first indication that while everything here seems familiar, at the same time, things are not exactly operating in a way that you're used to, all right? So that I felt was the one true surprise of this book, the one element that made it absolutely satisfying to read. I finished it. I felt like reading it again immediately. I can't wait to see what these guys have in store for the next issue. About the artwork is good, okay? I mean, I was reading this thing and the artwork really helped to flesh out the storyline. There were some panels that maybe seemed a little bit generic, but there were some other panels here that when you're looking at it, you just go, whoa, that looks fantastic. Okay, these are the guys that, you grew up watching on TV. These are the toys that you used to play with. Okay, they're right there in this book. So I want to hear from you guys out there. Did you manage to pick up Thundercats 1? Have you read it? What did you think about it? Are you anticipating this book? All right, what do you think about the return of Thundercats to comics in 2024? Hit me up in the comment section, let me know. And I'll catch you guys again real soon with more content. Take care out there.